Hey guys, what's up? MajesticGaming here, and today we have a very exciting new look at one of the new Halo Jazzwares sets that's going to be coming out, assumedly still later this year, and this set is going to be for Halo Infinite, obviously, along with all of the new figures that Jazzwares will be making. So obviously we haven't really had an update on Jazzwares since, that'll probably have been like January or February back, all the way when we got the initial reveal of all the figures at Toy Fair, and it was crazy, and it was like a bunch of new information and a bunch of stuff revealed about the game, and we got the Mark 7 reveal and just so much different stuff about weapons and story, and a pretty good amount of stuff, and it was a super exciting time. However, since then we've literally had pretty much nothing about these figures, which is pretty upsetting since they're assumedly still set to come out next month, which is only obviously like a month away, and we really haven't seen any sort of update or like pre-order thing or like official packaging or really anything. Besides, around a month ago, I didn't do a video on it just because it didn't seem like a big enough deal, but we did get 4 of the figures that were up for pre-order at a GameStop and a few different sites, along with some different looks on them, but I will quickly touch on that at the end of this video just because I never talked about it. But I did want to talk about the brand new news today of an entire new figure reveal, which is really exciting, and some new packaging, and something that I think is a little bit telling of hopefully more of these figures being revealed in the next few weeks, or just an official all-out like reveal. They'll be up for pre-order, and just everything hopefully sometime soon, the entire set, because there are a bunch of figures. So taking a look at this set, it is going to be a multi-pack set that we had all the way, I said, revealed back at Toy Fair, but back then we just knew that the set came with Chief and a villain that was to be decided. Now we have an official look at it, and that villain is a Brute Chieftain, and he looks pretty cool. I do have some concerns that I also have seen some people in the community kind of talking about that I'll get to in a sec, but overall, the Brute, obviously, or the Banished being the main antagonist of Halo Infinite, it makes sense. The Gravity Hammer, obviously also makes sense. And it just is, I think it looks great. I'm really excited about it. It is kind of concerning that a lot of the people have also been mentioning that the kind of aesthetic that the Brutes and just obviously the Banished had in Halo Wars 2 kind of seems to be like gone, at least at this point, and this doesn't really look like a Banished Brute. It just looks like some Brute from Halo Reach, which again, it obviously is great, but like, I don't know, I understand, obviously this is better than not having like any semblance of like an original art style, but I do think that is kind of upsetting that we are kind of seeming to lose at least sort of that stuff that the Banished had in Halo Wars 2. Again, maybe that's just this one figure and that's not super telling. We'll just have to see obviously more of the game and more of the figures, but overall I do think that figure looks very cool. Obviously we do also have the Chief figure, which we didn't really know before. I remember speculating that I think this weapon looked kind of like a Hydra, but maybe it was like some new interpretation of it or just something like that. We do have official confirmation that this is going to be the Hydra Launcher, obviously returning in Halo Infinite along with, like I said, the Grav Hammer. Makes sense, and that is cool. A lot of people are also wondering what scale these figures are in. These are going to be the 3.75 inch scale figures, which means this set is only going to run you about $15, along with the other multi-packs that we also got revealed. We still don't really know the villain that's going to come with the white Mark 5B Spartan that we all way back revealed. We don't really know the villain that's going to be with that, and we did have one more multi-pack that came with another Spartan and a Grunt that we also had revealed. So I do think that's cool. I do want to obviously see more official packaging and stuff about this, but that's pretty neat. And obviously both figures do come with 2 different stands, which is also very cool. It is also worth acknowledging that in the top right corner we do have this little thing that says New World of Halo scale, which we don't really know if that's going to be the 3.75 inch scale. I'm assuming, since obviously the scale that these are in, that is kind of what they're going to be. And for 3.75 inch figures, which are pretty small, I do think both these figures look very solid. Obviously the Brute's a little bigger, but I do think both figures look very cool, and I'm just excited to actually have some new packaging and new information on some of these figures. And obviously we have a picture that gives us a much better look at them, and I think they look great. Obviously there's not much I can say. I think Chief, obviously we've seen a bunch of figures of him. The paint, I will say, on the weapons looks a little, I guess, sloppy or bland, but again, this is a $15 set for 2 figures that are already really small, so I'm like, I don't have like super high expectations about it. I just think it looks pretty cool. So yeah, that's mainly the main bit of news I just want to talk about today. I think that's very cool, and I did also want to touch on, obviously, the reveal of the figures that we got all the way back when they went on pre-order like a month or 2 ago, because the first figure we did get was Master Chief, and I also saw some people kind of speculating about this since these were like the actual press pictures as opposed to the ones we just got of the prototypes back at Toy Fair, and they look kind of weird now. I remember really liking how the Chief figure looked at Toy Fair, and then the pictures we get online, it looks a little too like glossy, or like, I don't know, kind of reminds me of Mattel. I obviously think the articulation will be a lot better. It won't have the stupid removable armor. And the paint does look a little bit better, just but kind of like the glossiness of it though, it does kind of remind me of Mattel a little bit. Also, we do get the Cat figure, which is going to come with 2 different heads, which I think is pretty cool. Obviously an unhelmeted and a helmeted one, and she is going to come with a Spartan laser. I think her figure looks very solid. I think it's cool we're getting legacy figures, not everything about Infinite, and I am very excited about that. The white Mark 5B Spartan from kind of Reach inspired, with that new weapon, the Commando Rifle, or I believe it's called something like that, that we obviously saw in the gameplay demo, I also think looks very solid. And we also get the Mark 7 figure that a lot of people could really only find on GameStop, and I'll leave a link in the description below to the pre-order page if you guys really want to go pre-order that at GameStop. But I still think that figure continues to look awesome, especially that armor. I just am loving everything I'm seeing from Halo Infinite about that helmet and that armor, and I just really like it. I think it looks fantastic. But yeah, if you guys want to go pre-order those figures, I'll make sure to leave links down in the description below. And now it's pretty much just a matter of time until we wait and see what other looks we can get at more figures that are going to be coming, hopefully still next month. We don't really know if with the game being delayed, the figures are going to be delayed, but it seems like obviously all the like Halloween costume stuff, if you guys have been saying that's coming out. The Shadows of Reach book is also still coming out later this year, so it seems like all the marketing stuff around it is still going to be coming out. So it seems like we'll be getting more and more kind of information drips, even if this game ends up being delayed ultimately until this time next year, which would be terrible. But obviously I want them to take the time they need to make the best game possible. All that being said though, let me know what you guys think about this new multi-pack set. What do you guys think about the Brood design? What do you guys think about if you're kind of losing some of the aesthetic from Halo Wars 2? And what do you think about this $15 deal for 2 figures that I think do look pretty solid? And what do you want to see from the other Jazzwares figures as they keep on getting revealed and more stuff is shown from them? Let me know all that in the description down below, and thank you guys for watching. MajesticGaming.